Alright, welcome everyone to the 5th job Jett review. So I haven't played this class much since I did a series on it back in 2012 when I first made the character. I did terror burn a character recently to 200, but I've never really looked at 5th job. So this video will go through the main 5th job skills that Jett gets, along with what I believe are the best trios. So I'll be reviewing a number of 3rd job and 4th job skills in the mix, but it'll all make sense towards the end once I show what trios I've settled on. So first up is a 4th job ulti skill, which is the Singularity Shock. So it's just one of a number of map attacks that Jett gets. It has a 30-second cooldown, but is quite helpful, and I find that using it in one of the trios can help boost its power. Now we've got Allied Fury. So what this one does is it summons fellow bounty hunters that teleport amongst the map. So while you're training, it would be something that you interchange with Planet Buster and the other ultimates. So everything has a short cooldown, but yeah, you just rotate between using them. Up next is Gravity Crush. So a powerful singularity draws in enemies. Detonating the singularity inflicts significant damage over a large distance based on the damage dealt while the target was affected by the singularity. It's unaffected by damage reflection. So this is another one of the skills where it's got a fairly long cooldown of 2 minutes, but you just throw it out there every time it's pretty much ready to go. Like a lot of these skills, they're good to use in training and bossing. And here we've got Anti-Gravity Cycle SFFX Summon. Now that's a mouthful. So what this does is it summons a mount which you're allowed to fly around the map using any skill the Jett can use. So you are considered flying, so you won't be able to use certain skills, but what it's talking about, or what I'm talking about, is attacks that the Jett has. So here we are using Star Force Salvo, which is the main bossing skill. So you can fly around using that. Then you can also use Planet Buster, which, yeah, so it's a really cool skill. So if you push it again, it does that little salvo of damage there for 5 seconds. And as the skill says, it gives you a increase of 480% HP. And you're immune to knockback. So it's a really, really neat skill. And yeah, I'm jealous that the Corsair doesn't have something like this, because this is pretty much a better version of the Corsair's boat. Now back to a 4th job skill. So this is Starfall. It's essentially the same as the Nautilus ship summon for the Corsair. So you summon your spaceship to attack multiple enemies at once. 30-second cooldown, hits 15 enemies, attacks 3 times. So once again, when it comes to the trios, it's a good combination to have because it just increases the overall damage of it, and it's one of the skills you'd use in combination with the others. Now here is the 3rd job skill. So I've included this one in because it's included with turret deployment, and yeah, so this is something that you can use from time to time, and it has a short cooldown as just another larger area kind of attack. But yeah, as you can see there, it just attacks a number of mobs. Planet Buster is a 4th job skill, and it is your main mobbing skill. So 470% damage, number of attacks 5, hits 6 enemies. So this is the skill that I was showing on the mount previously, where you can fly around using it. And then yeah, it does have good reach. So in terms of attacking on multiple platforms, if you use the Jett's flash jump, you can hit it. And then in the hyper skills, you can also increase its damage and number of attacks. Now this is one of the more weaker sides of the Jett. So it does have a summon, which is turret deployment. It has a duration of 30 seconds and only hits one target with a cooldown of 10 seconds. It's very inferior compared to the summons for the Corsair, where with the Corsair you can summon 2 at once, and they last for a duration of 1 minute. So what is quite disappointing about it is, even though it's got a 10-second cooldown, if you place another one, the first one disappears. So you can only have one out at one time, which I feel really weakens its usefulness. Backup Beatdown is another skill that you can just use whenever it's off cooldown, and it just attacks a number of mobs in the map, allows you to jump. So it's just a good mobbing skill, goes off quite quickly, but can be useful. Star Force Salvo is the rapid fire skill for the Jett. So this one is better than rapid fire in my opinion, as it allows you to move with the attack going, which you can also do on the Corsair, but it also gives you the ability to jump, which would be very helpful in some bossing situations. So especially when it comes to bosses like Chaos Von, where it chucks something at you and also jumps. So rather than stopping attacking, you can just keep attacking and jump and dodge and that sort of thing. And yeah, so as you can see here, if you jump, it can also attack mobs on a higher platform, which you're not able to do with the Corsair's rapid fire. Now let's get into the trios. So first off, I've got Star Force Salvo, Starline 2, Falling Stars, and Turret Deployment. So as you can see there, Falling Stars and Turret Deployment is combined, which is an interesting combination. And I've chucked Starline 2 in there as it is the better of the two out of Starline 2 and Starline 3, as it has the ability to stun, a 50% chance. And yeah, I don't plan on using it that much whenever I do get around to playing the Jett, but yeah, it was really, there were only 5 main skills that were good to put together, and I figured put Starline 2 in there just as another alternative for a mobbing skill if you really wanted to. So very important to buff up Star Force Salvo as it's your rapid fire skill. Falling Stars and Turret Deployment, it's good to have a strong summon, even though, as I was saying earlier, it's a weaker version of a summon compared to what the Corsair's got. You're still worthwhile, buffing it up, because you can just have it sitting either in a boss fight or while you're training in a map, and can be quite helpful. And Falling Stars has a cooldown of 8 seconds, but you can just throw that down every time you're jumping or moving around. And yeah, it's just something you can get into combo with using. So onto the second one, we have the Singularity Shock, Planet Buster, and Backup B-Town. So these were skills that I covered previously, where Planet Buster is your main attacking mobbing skill. Singularity Shock is another large area attack which has a cooldown, and then Backup Beatdown is a skill which is in combination with Starfall, which is interesting. So I feel like if you didn't have that as a combination, you would have Starfall in there instead of Starline 2. So Backup Beatdown and Starfall together, which is, it's nice having those combinations, because it means that if, say, like there was a skill that you really wanted to include in these trios, and yeah, you could fit it in. If you wanted to have pretty much everything, you take out Starline 2, you could fit something else in there. So yeah, Starline 2 is the weak link in this, so you can sub it out for something else. But this is what, after sitting down and looking at them all, I figured these would be the best trios available. And you can do them in any combination. Obviously, I just got lucky with the way that they all fell. But yeah, that's the two sets of trios that I think would be good for the Jett. So along with these skills, you also get the typical pirate skills. So yeah, just the typical ones you'd come across any pirate class. So the banner one, which is good for bossing, as well as the loaded dice. So the loaded dice is quite handy, especially for training and bossing, as you can get attack and EXP. But yeah, so that's all the skills for the Jett there. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I do plan on doing more videos on the Jett once I get one set up, because I would like to have a Corsair going, a Jett going, and a Xenon going. So it'll be a little bit of work, but I think it'll be fun to set one up. So thank you very much for watching, and keep an eye out for the next video. See you later.